2022 meeting to order. First is approve the December 12th minutes. I don't have this here. So there is a change on the minutes from page, I believe you'll have it in front of you.
Yeah, it's page 2.
That little green line there, changing one of the lines to, parking on 4th Avenue will be changed from diagonal to parallel from 6th Street west to 5th Street. And then it changes the, in front of the old Methodist church, and then above, gets rid of the universal with the rest of the town. So those would be the corrections to the minutes, unless somebody else has some more.
I would move to approve those minutes.
No second. We have a second? Yes? Okay. Okay, any other discussion on the minutes? Colin?
Yes. Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. And then we have the December 27th special meeting minutes. I make the motion, we accept the December 27th minutes. No. Seconded. Okay, discussion? Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. Yes.
Yes. Okay, financials, everybody have a chance to review those?
Maybe so. Are they good?
Will they be in here?
Oh, in there. Okay. I've been coughing.
Got enough drugs in?
I got enough drugs. I got more at home. When we have a negative, sales use cash.
I'm working on some of those. We'll go over that later in the evening.
Okay. Oh, so there's some more in there. Okay.
Yeah. There's a couple of those I have
Okay.
to talk about.
Motion to approve the financials.
Second. Discussion? You're gonna address that a little bit later, Chelsea, on some of that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want me to do it now.
You could, might as well,
Okay.
financials, so.
The big ones that I've been looking at that I put in there, so the 705 account for the airport, which is page 20 of 25 for the financials, there's been a negative balance in there, so I could go back and find of $8,438.91. When I spoke with our state auditor, he just said that we either need to contact the airport and collect money from them, or we can just move it from the general fund. I'm guessing it's back from when it was all combined and the city was paying for it, and something was more than what was levied for that year for the airport, or, you know, they got more money, whatever. So that would be an easy just transfer of taking it from the general to the, to cover this, to put the 705 airport to a zero balance, being...
But didn't we look that up, as like back in 2017 or 18 or something?
This one we couldn't find.
Oh, this one we couldn't find, but a different one we were looking at was from quite a ways back.
Yeah, this one just went from ways back.
Well, that was the sidewalk one.
The sidewalk fund, we found a year, but I couldn't find anything specific to that one. So I can dig deeper into it, but regardless, we need to get away. It's fixed.
We were talking about, with the year-end financials, getting this straightened out with the year-end financials.
There's a couple of the things, yeah, that need to be fixed.
But as far as, you know, just the regular financials, you know, I think they're pretty spot on. It's just, it's these ones that have to be cleaned up. They've been this way for a while, so.
They've been carrying over. And this goes back to the beginning of 17 from our old account, and I can't go back any farther than without pulling any things, and it's had that negative balance in there, I think, since 18. Same with that sidewalk fund, the 707, which is page 22. There's a negative balance of $73,449.03. Some digging into that, we found payments that was to Wagner Construction for projects that was done back, and then I was trying to pinpoint exactly what all payments went out to see where it was, if it was more than what was anticipated. I don't really have much to go by until I can find it, I guess, but yeah, these are two of the big ones that need to be cleaned up. Then with that sales and use tax, why that negative carried over, I don't know if that was an error when we switched the programs, or why it was in there from that account. That's the other one I have flagged that I just am working on, but don't have.
Is that gonna give us a problem on our general fund then, if we take all that money out?
Well, it's gonna decrease our general fund,
Well, yeah.
because we're gonna have
I
to
mean,
cover
can we
these
do it-
negatives, but
Can we do it legally though?
yes. This airport one, I think, can be done, just be taken from the general fund and be done with that one.
What
The
about
sidewalk, I don't know, I mean,
No.
it can be taken from that, but I don't know if there's something more that, an accounting error that was done prior where it just got posted incorrectly. I was trying to look back and see what I can find, but
Well, you know, as hopefully we'll find out more as we research into it.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I was just curious.
it's stuff that's been there for a long time, and it's, the hard part is finding it, and so.
same with a couple of these payroll clearing ones. There was a balance I carried over from last year into our new accounting system, where theoretically these would all be zero at the end of the month, so I need to go, I think, just zero out one of these Aflac ones, why there's a balance there, and then when I pay my quarterly reports for the fourth quarter now in January, some of these should clear out, so then our payroll clearing should be down to zero.
Can I answer everybody's question?
Do we want to make a motion to clear that up then? Or do you want to research it more?
Well, let's do it with our, let's just, you know, accept what we're doing here, because she still has to work on that yet.
Okay.
So, right?
Yeah, hopefully I'll have the year-end financials
Yeah.
ready for,
And then we'll, once you figure out what we're actually gonna do, then we'll have it down, we'll do it then.
Does that screw up our bookwork going to the state then?
No, I don't think so.
as
For
to what.
auditing purposes?
No, because I'll have a paper trail of it. He knows about this, like Alex is the one that's walked me through some of this
Okay.
and telling me they need to be cleared out and get, like especially the airport one, being they were part of, and they're still part of the city, we levy for them. He more or less just said we can either ask them to pay it or just take it out of the general fund and get it cleared out of there. That was from our last audit.
Any other questions? Okay, we had a motion and a second already, correct? Okay, Colin?
Yes. Yes. Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move up the commercial dumping because Claudia's here. So this was tabled from last time. Our roll-off, this is about our roll-off dumpsters. You know, the fee that we are paying for these roll-off dumpsters is absolutely crazy. And, so in May, it was like $2,700. And then, let's see, tires, yeah, that one, all that stuff, and then in October, you know, we actually got some money, we got $857 from the sale of metal, but even with that, we still had to pay $1,276. So it's getting to be just a huge amount. So we had talked about, at our last meeting, about, you know, do we want this just for the, you know, residential use rather than the commercial use? That's where we're at with this. And I asked Claudia I told her about the meeting because I, you know, mentioned we were gonna be accepting this, so. So basically, I think your appliances and stuff, it's always like 1.5 or 2 roll-offs, I think. They, isn't that
Usually 1.5, yeah.
1.5? You know, at,
And I know you get free from Circle Sanitation each time. At least that's what they told me on the phone today.
okay.
basically, my appliance sales average about, I'm sorry, I've got, my throat's kind of messed up, I'll
Right.
fix this before Christmas, so. I've about $50,000 per year, which generates, it's about 10% of my sales. About 80% of those, I pick up units for the customers, there's about 20% that we don't. That's about $1,000 per year in the sales and use tax, just for the appliances, but then of course, people are coming in to do that, buying other things, buying the cords, buying the hoses, so it is more than that. What I see is the city has three options. We can continue as we have been, you can just stop taking them, or you can continue to accept them and charge me a fee. Based on what your decision is, I have three options. I can charge a fee. I can just flat discontinue the pickup service, which probably is what I would do.
Well, if you turn on someone, you can get the money for turning them in, which would help offset your costs. I guess the point is, we don't do it for any other commercial business in town. The residents, we actually charge a little extra, so we actually make some money from the residential garbage, to cover the extra costs like this, whereas commercial, you guys, contract directly with Circle, whereas, we don't see any, extra coming off of that.
Well, I can just, as I said, discontinue pickup, and then then it would be each resident, and they can bring them.
Anybody else have any?
Do you appreciate that, Donnie? A lot from them. I can just bring them up, set them in their yards for them, and then each person can deal with the city individually. Or, as I said, if you want to charge me a fee, then I would just pass that fee on. The third option is to quit selling appliances altogether, which, when you say, we could pick them up and charge a fee. We have enough issue just trying to get them delivered with Bill's Health, my health. There's no way to be able to take them anywhere, pack them, take them.
Well, what do you do with them right now?
We store them in the basement, and then,
Well, you could get Circle to bring a roll-off down, you could load them up, and, because you have to load them up anyway. So, I'm just throwing an idea out there,
and that is not.
yeah, so.
Excuse me, Claudia, do you think that it would adversely affect your appliance sales if you charged a disposal fee if they wanted you to haul them away? I'm just thinking of
Not a lot.
I'm just thinking of a comparison as far as, commercial goes, and that would be, for instance, like Ed at the body shop. He charges $5-6 a tire for a disposal fee, because when he gets this mountain of tires, he has to hire someone to come in at so much a tire and haul them away. So right on the ticket, there's a disposal fee for tires, and people just pay it
Yeah.
because they understand it's what it is. And so, that's a pretty apples for apples comparison, because we take tires too, but we don't take his. And
And that's, like I said, I could charge it, that's one of my options.
right.
How many appliances can get into a roll-off usually?
I don't have a yet for that.
Depends on the size, but I'd say about 20.
About 20?
Yeah.
And I think in October we had 26, maybe.
I think, I'm just gonna speak a little bit too, I think, looking at this day and age, I don't think anybody expects something for, people do, but let's be realistic, nothing's free anymore. So I think, to just tell the customer if they're looking at appliance, hey, you've got a couple options. for us to pick it up and dispose of it, it's a flat, whatever, you'd have to figure out what that fee is, you know, $20, $25, whatever it may be. The other option is, you can keep it, and you can bring it up here yourselves, come city cleanup week.
Right.
It wouldn't cost them anything, you know, so they do have some options. But I think I would be willing to bet if you present your customers with those options, nobody's gonna have any issues, you know.
No, that's what I said, my decision would be based on what you decided.
Right.
Because we did get a good kickback from scrap iron this year, but when I talked with Circle, which would have been 2-3 months ago, whenever this thing first came out, because I was surprised that, can't remember where they told that they took it, that they were actually getting scrap price for appliances because there's very little metal in them. And she said to her knowledge, that was the first year they had ever gotten money from appliances for scrap iron as an unprepared scrap, because the price of scrap iron at that time was about, unprepared was $150 a ton. But that has dropped down closer to the 100 because
Yes,
it's such a
right now it's
volatile market.
$105.
Right. So the city doesn't always get, from what I understand,
No.
this big of a kickback. It's more of an expense to the city to get rid of it, so. And I guess speaking as a businessman too, you know, as an apples to apples comparison, you know, we're not allowing him to bring his tires, you know, treating everyone the same. I guess I'd be looking at if you could, like Colin had a good option too. If they want to keep their appliance in their garage and haul it down for nothing, we'll dispose of it. If not, if you want them to take it, like Ed does, put or I'm sure Sandy does up there too, put a disposal fee on, like they do with tires, and then you would be covered and.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, so.
That is based on,
Yeah,
what I will do is based on what you guys decide.
right.
Okay, so we have a motion.
So I would, I guess I would move that we do not allow commercial dumping for fall and spring cleanup day, you know, because of the parameters that we've laid out here, the reasons why, so.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for coming, Claudia. Municipal judge report. Everybody has a copy of that? Do we have to accept this, or it's just for our review, is that correct, Chelsea?
Yeah, you can accept it that you approve his report.
I'll make
I
a
don't know
motion-
that you have to, but
I'll make a motion to approve the municipal judge report.
knowledge too for what we brought in for fines and stuff for the city. Knowledge and for what we brought in for fines for the city.
Yeah, so we need to put the figures down or not?
No.
Probably not. Okay. I'll move we accept the
I'll second it.
report.
What happens to all the unpaid violations? They just keep accumulating over time?
Yes, depending on what they are if they're traffic or if they're, depending on what they are. I mean, some of them will then go into suspension.
Okay.
Their license will.
So that's not money that we already have then, correct?
No, because they're unpaid.
Okay.
We have not received that. And I know there's, some
A
out
lot of
there.
times people cannot renew their license if they're not paid.
Yeah, I know that.
And that's from out of state too, so.
Yeah, I'm just kinda curious what happens to that money
Yeah.
if we don't get it. Money we should be getting, but we're not getting.
Right. Any other discussion? Colin? We're accepting the report.
Pardon?
We're accepting the report.
It's been seconded?
Yes, it has.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was reading something. Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Washburn Light, Rhonda. Come on up.
Sit at the front table.
Right.
I would like to ask the commission to waive the rental fees at Memorial Hall for the Taste of Washburn, which is March 26th, and to also invite the city of Washburn to participate in the Taste of Washburn.
So you're asking for the 25th and 26th? Because you want to set up on the 25th, correct?
Correct. We possibly could set up on that Saturday, but
It would be nice to set up early, right?
yes.
So you want 25th and 26th?
And then, some people would like to bring in their stuff before, so we use the refrigerator, that there will be no cooking. But we'll get a deposit for the kitchen though.
Okay.
I make a motion, we waive the fee for Washburn Lights.
Second it.
For the Taste of Washburn, yeah.
Taste of Washburn, yeah.
Okay. Discussion? Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, land purchase, from Doug Price. So I'm asking for authorization of final payment for $69,500. We won't present, or we won't give him that money until there's 3 trees that need to come down yet. And then once those are down, then we'll have the check ready to go, and we'll finish the agreement, and then we'll own that land.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a motion that we authorize the final payment of $69,500 once the conditions are met for the purchase.
And you'll check that out.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll second that, Larry.
Okay, just for discussion, the construction easement and access easement have already been signed and everything, so, and we have the purchase agreement, so, okay. So we have a second, correct? Yeah, Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Adam, back, flow prevention ordinance.
In the Safe Drinking Water Act and the North Dakota Administrative Code, water suppliers are required to provide cross-connection control within their water systems. In this memorandum they sent out late last year, it says the Department of Environmental Quality has been flexible in enforcing this regulation in the past, which is a nice way of saying they have not enforced it at all. But as of April 1st of this year, they are increasing their emphasis on compliance. So what they are tasking us to do is to develop a backflow prevention and cross-connection control containment program. So basically what that entails is to survey businesses, public buildings, apartments for potential cross-connections and to control them. To make sure they have some kind of backflow or to eliminate them if it's something similar, like just a hose sitting in a bucket somewhere. And part of that is to establish legal authority to go in and do that stuff. And the whatever handout you have is the example ordinance that they sent out. I looked into it a little bit. It looks like most cities that I saw basically have almost that entire thing in their ordinance. It probably doesn't have to be that extensive, but I mean that basically covers all your bases. And to give an example, our city ordinances have something that allow us to require businesses to have grease control, grease traps or whatever in their businesses, and for us to go in and enforce, inspection and maintenance on those. We don't do that, but we have the legal authority to do it if we want. And so that's basically what this is. To develop a plan, like I said, we just have to go in do a survey and then give them their options. There's no real penalty at the moment that we
It
could
just
figure
says
out.
that-
Chelsea's heard about this from other places as well.
The penalty is upon conviction be punishable as provided in all applicable statutes, laws, and regulations. I know Garrison just had their first reading on it at their December meeting, and Diane did state that she changed her ordinance to include the penalty to
Right.
suit their city.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that entails. I know another city had asked about it, or if she could send it. I could see if she would send it, or how we want to incorporate a fine for that.
Right, so you could include a fine in the ordinance if you wanted, but the example doesn't really have a set penalty or anything like that. And I don't foresee that being a problem. I'm assuming that anything that's been put in the recent past that requires a backflow prevention device probably has one, is what we're probably gonna find.
So where's this backflow prevention device has to be installed and,
It depends. So, in a hose, you just have a fitting on the nozzle. If it's something like fire suppression system, it's before that fire suppression system. It just kind of depends. If you have a boiler, it's before the boiler. Yeah.
And this is for water, not wastewater, correct?
This is water related, yes. So backflow is a water related problem. So any building, or not any building, but any business, public building, or apartment serviced by our water treatment or our water distribution system.
What about residential?
So that's not part of any plan they're asking us to do. So
Not yet.
nothing that's a single family, household.
Where I see the problem is when people use a hot seat pressure washer or whatever. If they shut that off and it's firing, it'll force water back into the water system because there's no release one way. Kind of understand what I'm talking about?
Well, that's why you should have
Right.
a
That's what I'm
thing
saying.
on your spigot, yeah.
Yep, and
Well,
that's an example
That's
of
an
a
example of
cross
what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's
exactly.
one of those, I can see not doing it on the residential that already have, but we should put it on any new building should have a backflow check.
Right.
Yeah, and we could certainly, require, and my understanding is part of the plumbing code that this stuff has to be installed. It's not that it always is.
Yeah.
But as far as our part in this, we are not going to go around to individual homes. And they're not asking us to.
But, will you be going to businesses and apartments and stuff checking those or not?
So there are two options. There are, you can send out questionnaires and then get them back and then determine if you've got to go in and look at that place. Or you can just go in yourself and look. I've looked at the survey question and sheet that they want us to send out, and it might just be easier to go do them.
That would be my thought.
Yeah, because it is, depending on who gets the questionnaire, it could be,
Secretary somewhere.
it could be pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get a lot of calls about it.
now, if they don't have them, they have to install them then, correct?
Yes, and if they need them. Not every place is going to need them. Not every place has a potential cross connection, so
But they could put them in at the water meter, can't they?
you could, yeah.
That would be the easiest and quickest, is shut off the water meter,
That
put
would-
it on the fitting on the end.
Yeah.
You're
I
done
mean,
with that whole
then
unit.
You'd isolate the whole system, yeah.
Right.
And then part of this requirement is that, I should add that, public buildings so we will be responsible for any public building, including the swimming pool or anything like that. And then part of this requirement is that they have to be tested every year, if you have one installed. I talked to Rural Water recently, and they have a program where, because we are a member of North Dakota Rural Water, we can get discounted inspections on our backflow preventers. So basically $25 per, which is incredibly cheap, actually. They do not provide that service to every company in every town, but they do it for our public system.
You have to be qualified to check these?
Yes, you
things?
do, and the list is quite small on people who will do it. So far, but now that this is happening, I'm imagining that list will grow because, it does cost.
Can you
money.
get qualified for it then?
We could, I believe I think he was telling me it's about a $2,000 class and it takes a couple weeks. Yeah,
So if you have, let's say we have a place that has a backflow or a
Cross connection,
connection. So I'm assuming that they're responsible for paying for the actual installation plus the annual inspection?
Yes,
So we
but, we could, not that we do this, but we could do it for them if we wanted to.
And then send them a bill or what?
Or we just, no, because what I'm saying is we could just pay for everything, that's an option. Like because, not that would happen. But what places normally do is you tell them that they need one and then they have to put it in. And
Just maybe they'd have to get a plumber or whatever.
Yeah, and then
They would have to pay for it.
And then they would have to tell us when it is inspected so that we can submit our yearly report
Okay.
to the state.
So we'd have a list.
We would have a list of everybody that has one. Yep.
So examples would be someone like has a boiler system for heat or that.
Yep, boiler's the big one. Fire suppression system's another big one. There's a whole list of them, and a lot of them are not applicable at all. I don't have it with me actually, but.
Is it in this thing that you gave out, all this?
No, that is just, I
that's
think the
just
only
the
thing you
ordinance.
have is the ordinance,
Okay.
yeah.
So is this something that you can go through and maybe with Colin and Chelsea and get it written the way you want it written for?
Yeah, if we want to change it, then yeah.
I'm gonna just say something, I know nobody's gonna like what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
But this is another example of government overreach.
I know.
I'm not for this. I don't think we've survived how many years without this. If the state health department wants to push it, they can fund it. That's my opinion.
As far as going.
As far as if they were gonna require backflow prevention, then they can fund it. Otherwise, my suggestion, because we all know that once you start this is just the beginning. Then it's gonna move on to the residential, it's never gonna stop. So,
But what worries me, if somebody wanted to be nasty, they could bring a tank and turn on a pump and pump chemical back into our system.
and that's
no matter
gonna
what.
happen anywhere, any place, any given time.
Where you hook into water.
Yeah, if somebody's gonna do it, they're not gonna do it at a commercial building. They're gonna do it in privacy of their home.
So what I'm saying,
Well, we don't think anybody's gonna do it on purpose.
No,
we don't think.
Yeah, this is to prevent accidental, backflow.
It's very possible we maybe got one or two with that in town.
But, I'm just looking at it from the property owner, if we come in and say, well, you gotta spend, I'm just throwing a number out there, $2,500 to put in backflow prevention.
I don't think it would be that much, but.
Well, I don't
Depending on what a plumber costs and what they do this.
Well, those poly pipes, I suppose the check valve is $20 for a brass check
It
valve.
depends on, I don't know what the requirements are,
Well, right. But that's the same way with the sewer system.
I just think just my opinion, you're opening up a can of worms.
So who do you think would be the biggest offender of this, residential or industrial?
We're not dealing with residential.
Yeah, we're not dealing with
I know,
residential,
but just looking at it, do you think the industrial would be more?
My opinion, we're not doing residential, but my opinion, every residential that has a sprinkler system is more of a problem than any commercial.
Yes, an underground sprinkler system is a cross connection, but we're not doing residential areas. So
Right, I know, but I was just asking, who do you think the biggest offender would be?
Probably anybody with a fire suppression system, and then we'd have, that's probably, but anything installed anytime recently probably already has a backflow preventer on it, would be
Okay.
my guess.
But it's not being checked.
Is it being checked? Maybe. Are we being told about it? Definitely not. Yeah.
So what's this is a requirement from the state for cities and?
Yes. Yep. So they're starting enforcement on this, and like I said, this has been on the books for a very long time. It just hasn't been enforced at all. And starting on April 1st is when they're going to start ramping up enforcement on it. But the first step is to establish our legal authority to even go in and just do the survey.
And that's what this does?
And that's what that does. Yep.
Well, go through it, and you and Chelsea then, and come up with something for the next meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? Okay. And Colin, I do agree with you, it's crazy.
Well, and I mean, it's fine if you
But what do we do?
want to go through it, then they need to fund it.
I know,
And we need
but-
to hold their feet to the fire.
But what do we do?
But it's like sewer, you could have had a backflow deal on your sewer and save a whole bunch of money on there, and nobody has it because nobody's aware of this stuff.
Okay. Okay, so we got spending limits for one commissioner. I just wanted that clarified because I think it was the last time we had. Are these what they are now, Chelsea?
You only mind?
Yes.
Okay. So, we addressed, 0 to $500 for staff, $500 to $1,500 for staff and auditor, $15 to $4,000 for president and one commissioner. Is there an area where one commissioner has authority to spend? Just want to get that clear so we know where we're at.
Right, that's, with the, at the hall, because we were talking the electrical, that's why I wanted to make sure.
And we said 500 on that one.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
and,
Just to clear that up, just a hair better.
But,
I said I'm roasting over here.
I'll bet.
Chelsea's favorite friend over here.
Who's gonna start bringing a blanket?
Okay.
Electric blanket, let's get it right.
Turn the heat up on cold.
So do we want that, like basically a commissioner is the same as staff? You basically got, $500, and unless you go with Chelsea, and it'd be up to $1,500. You discuss it with her, and then after that, it's the president and the commissioner after 15.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that would make sense. At least we have a guideline, where we're at.
right.
What does everybody think on that?
So you said each commissioner is 500?
Yeah. And then, be the same as staff, 500, and then, commissioner and the city auditor up to 1,500, just so she knows what's going on. You see where we're at with these, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just
I know.
asking.
Thoughts on that? What are you laughing at?
Yeah, because
So-
it's the little things, it's like, if somebody needs a weed eater, or,
So 0 to 1,500, you could just change that to, we're now at staff and city auditor, and then do or
a commissioner.
one commissioner type thing? Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Say that again?
So for like the $500 to $1,500
Yeah?
range, right now it's staff and city auditor. So
Yeah.
Adam and Chelsea would have to both agree on that. Could we just add, or do, or one city commissioner up to $1,500?
You talking staff and city commissioner, or city
No,
auditor?
just do, the staff and the city auditor to improve that much, or just one city commissioner. And then to go to 1,500 to 4,000 would be one commissioner and the president. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So you're basically given, one commissioner can authorize up to $1,500 by himself.
Yeah, because if there's a water break and you get a call, I need this piece, well, you're gonna need it anyway.
Right, I mean, if it's small, but obviously if it's any sizable amount, we're gonna.
We're not.
But I think emergency situations are a little bit different.
Emergencies are a little, this
Yeah.
is, discretionary
This is just day-to-day,
spending,
yeah.
not emergency
Right.
situations. There's a big difference, This is just day-to-day, stuff, so,
So, if you just added that verbiage, for 501 to 1,500 would be the staff and the city auditor, or one city commissioner.
What does everybody think of that?
That makes sense?
Makes sense to me.
Works for me.
So that way, if it's something, Adam or Chelsea needs, those two themselves can authorize up to 1,500, but
Right.
maybe, Matt comes to one of us and says, hey, I need, whatever, this part, it's $1,200.
Right.
At least that way, the commissioner at the time has the authorization to approve it.
That works for me. Tim, what do you think?
I agree.
Okay, like I said, this is for discretionary spending, it's not if for an emergency or, stuff like that, it's,
And I think everybody has enough common courtesy, common sense to where even if it's $1,300, tell you what, let me check with whoever, Larry or Tim, because I don't know as much about that particular thing, so.
Right.
If it's a vehicle or something, I'm gonna check with Tim.
Well, right, exactly, no, I agree, it's,
Even if it's still under my limit, I'm still gonna probably check and just.
the reason I kind of think this because of that, incident we had with that drainage up there, you still can't go against the city commission if they say
Right.
something, you can't say, I could spend up to $1,500.
Right,
So,
right.
Okay.
I mean, there still has to be some common sense.
There has to be
involved.
common sense, right.
So would this be staff and the city auditor, or one commissioner and city auditor?
No, we're just one.
Staff, to me, the staff would be like Adam,
Right.
Matt, Lee, and then, or Erica.
But like your example, like say Matt came to me and said, hey, the mower's down, it's $1,200, I can get it going this afternoon. So him and I can make the decision and then just let Chelsea know that.
You could make the decision.
You could make the
yeah.
decision
He would more
yourself.
likely bring it to you, but you
Right.
would be the one making the decision.
Okay,
So,
yeah, just for clarification.
Yeah. Yeah, staff and city auditor or one commissioner.
Right.
I like that.
Sounds good.
I'll make that motion that we change our policy into that.
I'll second it.
Further discussion? Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Easy.
Yes, right. Else I see is the same, 0,500.
Yep.
All right, public works position. You're up, guys.
Well, we had an acceptance this morning. He called me at 9:15 this morning and accepted the city position at
And his name is?
Zachary Redlow. And he will start on the 24th.
24th of January.
Yes, and I informed Chelsea this afternoon about it. And he has agreed to sign paperwork that he will move within the next year, and he plans on renting an apartment before he can find something permanent.
And he is starting at,
$23 an hour.
then he'll get health insurance right away.
Yes, but
And
he
the other,
won't be able
the other
to,
benefits will.
right, he won't be able to take any sick leave for 3 months, correct, Chelsea?
Correct. Took on vacation.
Yeah. So you're gonna move?
I make a motion that we accept Zachary Bradlaugh as the new city worker.
I'm on the committee, let somebody else second that, because I was
Second.
involved with all of it.
Okay.
Oh,
Colin, you second?
yep.
Okay. Discussion? Colin?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
There's an Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he is dying to move, so.
He's a good man.
Within a year. Yeah, you can see his resume, so that's why we sent it out. And he had good references. That was the deciding factor.
Yeah, big time.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing is the snow ordinance. This is just something we put together. I want it reviewed by everybody, look through it, see what you think. It's just a beginning start. We got people that are just doing anything and everything with the snow, they don't care. And it's getting to be a real mess around town. I hate putting in ordinances, but what are you gonna do? So it's just for you to take home, review, get different ideas, come back, let me know or let Chelsea know, and we'll work on it from there. Unless somebody has, you have one of these in your thing, by the way.
Pardon?
You have one of these in your...
Yes, I do.
Okay. Unless somebody has questions on this right now, we'll move on. But you can, give me a minute to read through it.
Did you have a rough date when this would take effect if we approve this?
Well, we'd have to go through 2 readings.
Right, but I mean, you want this done quickly, or
Well,
do you want this
the
done?
The first reading wouldn't be till next month, so...
Right.
I don't know if we're gonna get a whole lot done this year, because by the time we get it in there, snow will pretty much be done, you know, but, so... Okay. AE2S.
The man of the hour.
Minute.
You almost didn't make it on time, man.
Right when the bell rang.
Yeah.
Hey guys, and gals, good evening. Just wanted to give a quick update here. So, you guys already did the land purchase thing. Thank you for that. But the purchase agreement and plat amendment was signed by the landowner. I was tracking trees were down, but apparently there's a couple stragglers they still gotta get, 2 or 3 trees.
There's 3 trees, there was 1 he cut, if Al gets the other 2.
Oh, shoot.
So he's gotta get it pulled down before he cuts the other 2.
Okay,
So, and I already explained to him, it won't be done until those trees are down, so.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm glad they've done very well in being proactive, I would say, and getting
Yeah.
those, so I'm sure they'll get those other ones taken care of. And just again, Blue Flint is reimbursing the city for that check that they write for that land purchase.
So my question is, are they paying for the cutting down of the trees and everything, and what about the surveying and all that stuff, or?
Yep, so everything that we've done, so the city paid for, the trees to be cut down as part of the land purchase, so that'll all be reimbursed. So that answers that first question.
Okay.
Second part of your question was the surveying, so we have an engineering agreement with McLean Sheridan, who's a project sponsor.
Okay.
So the work that we're doing for the surveying was done under that agreement.
Okay.
So that's,
Perfect.
the city doesn't even have to see that.
Okay,
That
nice.
part of that, so that'll be taken care of as well.
Good.
I talked to Todd Jors from Department of Emergency Services today, and they have been in touch with FEMA on getting an update on that. We submitted a grant increase request quite a while ago, and they're still reviewing it. He says they've had a change of leadership at FEMA, which go figure. But he says they've communicated pretty well with them, our state entity, which is Todd at DES. So they're looking into that. He says there's a chance, like they said before, that we could get additional funds for this, because of their last funding period, apparently they had funds left over. So more to follow on that. But I did update him on where the city's at. We submitted the quarterly report before the end of the year, so I figured they would have gotten that, but some of the guys at DES apparently didn't know about that, so I just gave them the update that, hey, we were working on this, the city is purchasing the land, we're looking at our design again, and we're repackaging the bidding for this, because we plan on bidding. Our goal is to bid this the end of April, beginning of May.
Right.
So I gave them an update on that. The grant is good through March 22nd of this year, so 60 days prior to that date, which is coming up here January 20th, 22nd, I need to submit a grant extension request.
That was that other email that they had sent out, correct?
Yep, so I'm working on that, and when I talked to Todd about that, he's like, they're moving forward with it. I'm like, yeah, we've made a lot of progress lately. So he said he wanted to discuss that with his department as to how we draft that letter, because I've already kind of got something drafted, but he says, well, we might give you some more guidance on how we want to request that extension letter.
Sure.
So
Okay.
just to keep you guys updated on that. But
Nice.
they are keeping in touch with FEMA, so that's good for us that they're providing that support. So, yep, like I had said last time, I think we're working on updating the final plans. We're looking at the permits again, at least the core permits,
the Corps of Army Engineers permit, we need to acquire those yet. And then preparing for that end of April, beginning of May bidding for the intake project. Any questions on the intake?
Yeah, how long will it take to build that thing?
We're looking at about a year and a half.
To
if we-
build that intake?
Correct. So if we start this spring, summer of 2022, it would be the fall of 23.
That long, huh?
Yeah. Yep, because you're looking at constructing a wet well,
Mhm.
you know, that's 9 to 10 feet, as we have designed right now in diameter and 40 foot deep, so that's pretty substantial. The site plan needs to be the site needs to be worked and updated. There's a 1,400 foot pipeline that needs to be bored under the river, so there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done for the intake.
Going under the river?
Yes. Yep, because we're on call it the west side of the river, Oliver County, you know, that's where our intake is
Mhm.
going to be located, and then we got to get it to the water plant on this side.
So it just can't go in the water on the bottom, it has to go underneath the river.
Correct. Yep.
How far underneath?
I think our design right now has a minimum of 20 feet underneath the river bed. So, but that's something that we'll be looking at when we get into the construction phase.
Are
We need to
you
make
looking
adjustments.
at the size, whether we need to increase for the amount of
Yes.
water?
That's something we're working on right now.
Okay.
Because we had, on the previous design, it was a 12-inch poly pipe. So we need to confirm that that's going to be big enough for what we're planning. So the new water plant, which we'll talk about here, we're planning that to be a 1 million gallon a day water plant. Okay, so 1 million gallons, 1 million gallons a day is, well, I believe it's 694 gallons a minute is what 1 million gallons a day is, but I have to probably double check my math.
You're
Okay?
right.
You're an engineer,
You're
right
right.
off the top of your head.
Well, we've been looking at it for a while, so, but besides that though, the existing plant, can do up to 1,200 gallons a minute. So we would obviously need to make sure, so that's, you know, that's like 1.7, 1.8 million gallons a day. So we want to be able to design our pipeline, whatever we put in, to be able to handle that capacity. So we're looking at that. We don't want to overdo it, but we also don't want to, for sure, we don't want to underdo it, so. But yeah, so the water plant, we're working on that. We're doing some preliminary design and cost estimates right now. We've been in touch with some suppliers and vendors on equipment. We've talked with Adam and Larry and Colin a little bit about some of the equipment and what we want that plant to look like. So we're working on that. We're going to be out on Wednesday to do some, I'll call it snooping around the existing plant. Some people, I've been in the water plant a couple of times. Lath's been in there a couple of times, but there's a few others that have not on the design team. So we want to make sure that we're gathering the data that we may or may not have, and everyone's familiar and on the same page. And it'll give us another chance to ask Adam some more questions. So we're going to do that on Wednesday. Plan is for geotechnical fieldwork to start next week. Okay, so that's going to entail some boreholes and geotech data gathering. That'll be next week. That's the plan right now, but that could change, but that's the plan currently.
When you did this, did you foresee having a backup generator on that side of the river because they're a different power grid than what we are?
We did not plan on doing a backup generator on the other side of the river. We had looked at an option. It was a bid alternate to put a backup generator on this side of the river.
On this side of the river,
Yes.
but not that side,
Correct.
because you gotta push water, not pull. The pumps are gonna be on that side of the river, right?
But we still have our current intake as well, right?
Well,
So-
that's what I'm asking,
Mhm.
you know, if you're gonna
So
have a backup.
yeah, and that is something that we could talk about that if that's something that we think we want to do, is have two backup generators, basically one for the intake on the west side of the river and one for the water plant and the intake on this side of the river, in the pump house basically that would be pushing water to Blue Flint, and as well as running the city's high service pumps, You know, if we're gonna have a generator, it might as well be running all those things. So last time we bid it in 2019, we had it as a bid alternate to have a backup generator. So that's something that we can discuss that, if that's something the city wants to do again, or if they want to eliminate that option, or if they want to select that option ahead, like, you know, that's still up in the air, you know.
Well, I think it's something for discussion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to say right now, I
Yeah.
don't think we really need to make that decision at this time.
It's historically what I've seen at just about all the plants that I go to that have them.
Yeah.
They run them to test them, but that's it.
Yeah.
The need for them is pretty minimal.
Other food for thought, as part of this project, Blue Flint's installing a 2 million gallon tank at the Blue Flint site. That's another part of our trip on Wednesdays. We're gonna be going up there to meet with those guys and look at the pipeline route too and the facility at Blue Flint, so we can deconflict everything that we're planning on putting in. So they're gonna have a lot of storage there. That's gonna be, you know, 3 days storage for them. The city has a 250,000 gallon clear well at the water plant. And then, of course, you guys have a lot of elevated storage, which is great for the city.
Right.
So for the city, for Blue Flint, we're planning on covering their bases. You know, if they can have 2 days, 3 days of storage, you think we'd be able to get power back up by then? And then the city, you know, obviously the summertime, we use a lot more water, but if something like that would happen, the city would have to, it would be expected the city would put out hey, you can't irrigate, you can't, you're gonna be on water restrictions, let's not water our grass because right now we're trying to get the plant back up and running or power back on or whatever it is. But
Right.
wintertime, demand is much lower, so, you know,
Well, I'm really thinking if there's like a big disaster and all else fails,
right,
you know, yeah, we're gonna shut them off because
yeah.
feeding the citizens water is way more important than making ethanol.
Oh, yeah, correct.
So,
Yeah.
And then, as the last resort, if we run out of water, we just send everybody to Larry's house because he's cornering the market on bottled
Sorry, I
water.
got bottled water.
Just FYI. So, just saying.
I got bottled water. Dumbass.
So that's kind of the general update on that. A lot of work to go yet on the water plant. The schedule is further out for the water plant than the intake. Obviously, we had a lot of work done ahead of time on the intake, so we've been working on that project for a while. Any other questions for?
When's the final date that they're gonna need this water? Have they determined that?
Well, they wanted it yesterday, but, so they wanted it like this August, which is impossible, because even if you had, I mean, there's labor shortages, there's equipment shortages, there's material shortages, you know, all those things. So if we can get a pipeline built this summer, maybe we can get something built this summer, but the city's not gonna have that capacity. This water plant's gonna take a couple of years to build, you know. So, yeah, they want it as soon as possible, but
But the sale hasn't even gone through yet, has it,
the sale.
for the plant?
That is,
It's
I heard that it's been pushed through because that last hurdle was that,
Transmission line.
the power line, yeah.
I heard it's done. So.
I heard from let's just say a very reliable source, that's corporate, Great River is gonna happen in May.
Is what?
May.
When they sign it.
Yeah, 1st of May, that's
Yep.
what I had heard.
So, any other questions on the Blue Flint stuff? Okay, so the only other thing I had in there was McLean County Water Board. That was one of the things we talked about last time we were here, but whenever we hear something on that, I guess we'll kind of go.
I've got a note to call Shannon,
Okay.
and as soon as I do, I will get a hold of you.
Okay. Yeah, no big rush on that. I just
Yeah,
had it
we've
on
got
here from
time,
last time.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
we have plenty of time. So
yeah.
that's all I have, unless you guys have any other questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Portfolio's calling.
One thing I got, I know we talked about it last month, when we talked about rate increases. I'll get a hold of McLean Sheridan, try and set something up to visit with them about rate increases for them also.
Okay, you gotta get old Lynn or, I suppose,
Yeah,
or,
get a hold of it, maybe
or
start
Ann
with-
or whoever.
Yeah,
and-
Ann or Lynn or whoever, and.
Yeah, I mean, I can attend that too if you want.
Right, we'll figure when we can get together, maybe get you down here.
Okay,
Adam, whoever,
yeah,
get a little meeting to set up, so.
yeah, probably try and get that within a month here, I suppose, so.
Yep.
Okay.
The only other thing I got is, just kind of more directed at Adam. Just FYI, I'm not sure, is the water plant gate working?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
With
just-
how cold it was, I left it open because in the past it has frozen up.
Well, but you gotta remember, that was a couple years ago, because there's a heater in there that I found was turned off
Right.
in that cabinet, and should be on.
Yeah.
So just, and I just, wasn't sure, because I'd drive by and like, why is the gate open? It should be, keep it secure, so.
Yeah, it was more, I guess it was just more convenience, and that it was unprecedentedly cold at -25, so I decided to keep it open for now, but yeah, we can close it now, that it's warmed up.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Mr. Doctor?
Not much, just with the new parking ordinance, the officers have been very cooperative, and they've been out enforcing and putting tickets on, so.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
About that, those signs have been ordered, they're not here yet, for the parallel parking part anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
At the Memorial Hall, the Legion came to me and asked if they can put a TV and a sound bar in the downstairs dining room, which they were going to take care of, and so I told them they could do that. So that is moving forward.
How big are the TV?
I never asked the exact size.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Anyway,
And I'm just waiting for some of the janitorial deals to get back to me, so I'm still kind of in limbo on the machine to clean the floor. But, and I haven't heard if the elevator is working better yet or not. So I worked on that a little bit to make the door close easier.
I'll try it tomorrow night.
So,
okay.
I think
You'll let-
that's everything.
You'll let Mike know on that
Yep.
then?
yeah.
That it?
Yeah, because every time I use the elevator, it works, but every time somebody else does, it don't work. So I'm still working on it.
Since we worked so hard on this, getting a person hired, I would like to put a letter of recommendation into Adam's file for the fine job he did helping Mike and I out with the hiring of this new city employee. Because he spent a lot of time here with us as well.
Sure.
Thank you,
That'd be
Adam.
good.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna write that?
Pardon?
You're gonna take care of that?
I'll take care of that.
Perfect. I love it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Just a reminder, our employees should be checking into their Class B licenses. You can push that a little bit to them.
Has anybody started anything or done anything?
No.
Not yet, no.
So, I mean, at least get them, a book and get them studied so they can get that written test. And get started on it.
Yeah, just started before the 7th of February, so.
Yep.
Okay. Either the end of this week or sometime next week, I'll probably be heading up to Minot to look at that tar distributor that kind of came from the city of Bottineau. We should have it in Minot this week.
Tarring machine?
Yeah, tar
Oh.
distributor.
Oh.
Yeah. So take a look at it, see anyway, see what it looks like, so, yeah, hot tar machine, so.
How big is that?
I think it's 600, but it might be 1,000. The guy, first he said it was 600, then he said it was 1,000, but I think it's 600. But
Came from Bottineau,
I believe it came from, Bottineau traded in for a new one.
the city?
Yeah. I think it's Bottineau. Pretty sure.
Well, I don't know, because I know those guys up there to find out about it too.
Oh, yeah, give them a call. See what they have to say. Pretty sure it's Bottineau, yeah. Okay, other than that, I think that's all I have. Chelsea?
I guess my big thing was year-end financials that we kind of discussed that I'll be working on. And I don't know, residents that have been told to remove snow around town, what you want to do with that if it's not being done. They were given a week. And a question we had, we'll start with that.
Residents to move snow from,
Piled on the street, I think.
piled on the street.
Without an ordinance, I don't know what.
I know, right? It's pretty tough to. If, as long as the traffic can get through, I don't know if there's something we can do right now. It's a mess, I know that. And,
If we had an ordinance in place where we would have some more direct guidelines. for
that's right.
That were kind of,
I'm thinking we might need to send out maybe a reminder to at least the snow contractors that you are not to push snow into the city streets, or...
Well, I think that was included with the letter that just went out to every resident,
That's true, I think it was.
so
yeah, that was
So,
in there.
they should read that and
I guess we'll,
take it from there.
I'm afraid it's not gonna go that very far, but,
Right.
well, I think we'll just deal with it as it comes. I don't know what else to say.
Another question we've gotten with this new parking ordinance, with contractors or somebody doing work with their work trailer parked on the street, is there any leeway with that? Or do they still need to move it within the they have 72 hours.
Well, I think it addressed that, didn't it?
You mean if they have an ongoing project somewhere,
Right.
not an all-winter project, probably, right?
Well, wasn't that addressed in the parking ordinance?
Yeah, if there was an ongoing project and you were parked in front of someone's house because you were doing flooring or whatever,
Right.
you can park it there. But when their project is done, it's.
Well, yeah, you can't leave it there for a month, you know, the city.
Siding contractor doing work on a house for 2
Right.
weeks, you're fine.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if
I
the
think
siding
it was addressed
contractor
in that.
happens to
Yeah.
live in Washburn, he can't park his trailer there indefinitely.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, they should realize that if we get a lot of snow, they should
Yeah.
move it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's only common sense.
Right.
That's the key word. That's not so common anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I just, wanted, I guess, clarification on that so that it was stated, so.
Yeah.
But it's gotta be a project in progress.
Right, not just a
Active-
trailer
an active
sitting,
project.
yeah.
Active- Yeah, they can't just bring it there and say, I'm starting in 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Any other questions that we can't answer?
I think that's all I had.
Okay.
Over the weekend, there was a significant sewer backup. And from what I understand, what I was told, that there were a lot of paper towels and fats that came down the line.
We have no idea what was in there.
Okay, because I was told that there were a lot of fats and paper towels that came through.
Well, I mean, it was swirling up. I mean,
Yeah.
you could see it, but who knows, you know?
Yeah. In plugs that have happened in that particular area in the past, it has been those that have caused it. And we have sent out reminder letters to businesses that perhaps that are upstream from that particular area, not to dump their grease down the drain. And maybe we could think about doing that again.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Did we flush the hydrants in that area this fall to help flush out those sewers?
Further up the line, but it goes through there. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was
That
wondering.
particular part of town goes.
I don't know where it
Half the
was.
town, basically.
It was on 7th Street, just south
In the
of,
whole- yeah.
Borderline,
Oh, okay, that's just,
yeah.
Yeah. So that covers the whole upper area of town, basically.
Who dumped it? Who dumped it?
We don't know.
It just-
You can't know for sure.
Who knows, yeah, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody, could even be a resident, honestly, but.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, a lot of people, they dump everything down the drain, they don't care. You know, it's,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we had to make a post about that during COVID.
We definitely.
about the
Right.
toilet paper thing.
Yeah, with toilet paper
That-
and,
yeah.
no wipes and
Yeah.
paper towels and stuff when there's a shortage, so.
You know, those.
We can maybe
supposed
reiterate
flushable
that.
wipes are,
They're not flushable.
yeah, they should be
Well, they're flushable.
flushed in the
They're
garbage.
just not-
They go right down.
They're not biodegradable, yeah. You know, we've had, just real quickly, we've had a lot of things in the sewer. I mean, you find underwear. That one manhole was full of syringes one time. Somebody was using their, I suppose they were diabetic or whatever it is. I mean, the whole manhole, there's just tons of syringes in there.
Yeah, you find all those things.
Yeah, so you know, you don't know what you're gonna get, and some of that stuff can be really dangerous.
Yep.
You know, so-
Yeah, so maybe a periodic reminder not to flush that sort of stuff down would probably be, I don't know when the last time we sent something like that out was, but might not be a bad idea. I know Bismarck has a program where they send something out every year. We could
Yeah,
probably.
it might have been 2 years.
Yeah,
a
we should
year.
probably grab.
I'm trying to think, did we send something out last year?
We should.
We might have, we
Maybe we
put a
ought to send
Facebook
it out.
post.
I know, yeah, we put a Facebook
Right,
post out
we-
just
We should
to make
do
sure, 'cause
Right.
New York
Yeah,
City. Right.
a program of all the stuff we should send out every year.
Yeah, like snow
Because-
removal and that kind of stuff all at once.
Right,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe we can.
send
work
out
on it.
emails,
What?
emails,
Be a lot cheaper.
mass email that I can start generating.
You have everybody's email address?
A lot of people. That was on part of the thing, but we can.
All right, anything else?
Did Matt talk to you this morning about the tunnel being blown shut up there again?
Nope.
Okay, I called him last Friday when you were off and asked him to mention Monday at the meeting about it, because it's pretty plugged up on the
We'll get it cleaned up.
east side and stuff like that. It's,
They spent a lot of time working on the sewer truck today
Right.
because,
Yeah.
the hose was really bad on it, so.
no, and I said with it blowing, it's not gonna help it until it dies down
Right.
to get rid of the snow, so.
Anybody have anything else? Bills? Anybody have a chance to review the bills?
Motion to approve the bills? Second.
Discussion? Colin?
Yes. Yep.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Next meeting, February 7th, not the 14th. So, with that, thank you everybody for coming. Meeting is adjourned.